Coming up on Be Kind, Let's Rewind.
Today we're talking about the classic movie Lost Boys.
No!
I got in trouble for killing my brother for being a sucking vampire.
My own brother, a sucking vampire.
The sax guy on stage, who I know in your notes you said looks like a young Shawn Michaels. To me, he looks like a young Tatanka.
But you know, and then then the mom says something like,
I am cuntingly disappointed in you.
There it is, man. The save.
Grandpa to the rescue.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Cue music.
One thing about living in Santa Carla I never could stomach. All the damn vampires.
Welcome to Be Kind, Let's Rewind, the nostalgia podcast no one asked for, with your hosts, Chris, Leaf, and Chadwick.
Our lives rule. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Be Kind, Let's Rewind, the nostalgia podcast no one asked for. Today we're talking about the classic movie Lost Boys.
Maggots, Michael. You're eating maggots. How do they taste?
Woo! This one
those wimpy kids from Peter Pan.
Yeah, those wimpy kids from Peter Pan, man. But before we get into this, guys, be sure to like, subscribe, tell your friends, hit us up with a 5-star on the audio, and go grab some merch. The hats will be in soon. You can't have this one, though. Nope. Seat's taken.
It's riddled with lies.
Yeah, the seat's taken. Guys, where do you first remember seeing Lost Boys? Leaf, go ahead.
I had no idea.
Dude, I remember VHS. It was another classic. When my rich friend Trey and his collection, we used to go to his house and watch all the rated R stuff in his basement.
Did his dad have like rich guy like fight clubs in the basement?
He could have. I mean, you know, we had fight clubs in the basement. This was the 80s. Nobody was watching us.
Yeah.
Poor Matt.
Ain't nobody fucking the maids in my house. They are fucking ugly.
Ugly. Dude, yeah, we watched this sucker, and I remember it was like, there's a couple of scenes, every time I watch this, I always freaking forget, and every time I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they're brutal,
When
man.
I went back and watched this, I had the same thing. I think, to be honest, I saw this on network TV in a heavily edited version, and until we did the podcast, I really hadn't revisited it, nor did I know of any of the lore or anything like that. Chadwick, do you not remember where you first saw it?
It was probably like on USA. Several times I saw it.
Yeah,
and I was probably
always on TV.
Yeah, I was probably 13 or so before I actually saw the unedited version of it.
Dude, it's one of those movies that like you don't really miss anything by taking out the ultra violent scenes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
like
true.
they edit out like the gruesome brutality where the vampires murder that one group of campers, whoever they are, and I mean you still hear them screaming and stuff. You know they're getting killed.
Right.
So you don't. There's nothing you really miss.
Are these people being killed or having sex?
Which led us over to...
That's better.
Get out of the street, you fucking bum!
And the answer was they were having sex. Speaking of having sex...
That's right.
That's right. We're having a brunch edition this week, recording. So I have a refreshing vodka soda with some Kettle One that I found in the bottom of the cabinet that I guess drunk Chris hid from himself. So good job, drunk Chris, hiding booze from yourself.
Yeah, so we're talking about demons and killers and stuff on a Sunday morning, just like church. So I'm doing the pineapple juice mimosa.
Oh yes, Queen. Chadwick's favorite.
Slay.
And if I remember correctly, pineapple juice is supposed to make
All right.
never
So
mind.
Leaf, what do you got, man?
I'm doing a little bit of ginger ale, and you know what? And I was like, screw it, man. I just did in honor of upcoming St. Patrick's Day as we're recording this.
Yeah.
Just gave Jamison, a little Jamison.
Yeah, dude.
Some Jenna Jameson.
Dude, put some.
Kiss in
You
there.
don't want to put Jenna Jameson in there, but yes.
What?
We're such fucking amateurs, man. We should have been all doing Bloody Marys for a vampire movie.
You know what? In post, who am I kidding? In post, we're just gonna leave this because I'm lazy. So
No, wait. You could wait. Why don't you like edit in like the old version of this episode where what were you drinking? Man?
I don't remember. It was not a brunch episode though. I think the only brunch episode was that X-Men one when Shadwick and all of us just got unbelievably hammered.
The second part of that X-Men episode was
rough.
Randy.
It's fucking rough, man. So, all right, guys. Again,
What are you talking about? The first time we did this episode, we've never done this before.
Exactly. So just don't forget, go grab some merch. Don't forget our pals over at Zbiotics, zbiotics.com/bekind. And our last shout out to our Rewinder of the Month, John T. We'll have a new one next month, guys. So if you want to be Rewinder of the Month, Rewinder.
The Munch?
Rewinder of the Month.
That's a t-shirt.
Yep. If you want to be Rewinder of the Month, be sure to hit us up on social, engage, all that side of things. Dude, I want to just start calling it Rewinder of the Munch now.
Put your order in for Employee of the Munch.
Yeah.
T-shirts.
Let them watch. Let them watch, man.
You're a vampire, Michael. My own brother, a goddamn shit-sucking vampire.
So, dude, let's get over into the topic, guys. The Lost Boys, which when we did our research on this, I don't know why it never dawned on me this was going to be a Peter Pan spinoff at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those where just when I read it, I was like, oh, yeah, duh.
You could kind of miss it though if you don't really think about it, because just like the Lost Boys, all right, maybe they're damned, and then you're like, wait a minute, Peter Pan. They never grow up. Oh, because they're vampires.
Yeah, it's one of those.
You'll never grow old. You will never die.
Yeah,
but you must fuck.
I just don't understand. Like, I don't know. It's one of those. Like, I don't think of this movie and Peter Pan in the same fucking universe. But anyway, that's what it was early on. It was supposed to be.
Yeah, well, that's because the movie changed so much from what the original script was. Because originally Richard Donner was attached to it, and it was pretty much like too kiddie for him. Like he wanted to make it darker, and I think there was some pushback from the studio at first, and then I think the vampires were all supposed to be younger, so they were supposed to be more like tween age. I guess.
think this was going to piggyback off Goonies, right?
Yeah, it came out like in and around that time, and so the original idea was like make the boys all of the kids age like the same as like the Frog Brothers,
right?
Yeah. Edgar and Alan.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I just noticed that last time
too.
I watched it, the Edgar Allan Poe thing. I'm like, how in the fuck did I not even get that?
I was rewatching it and I was just like, God damn it, Chris, why are you so fucking stupid?
I thought the same thing.
Needs braces.
Dental plan.
That's what I thought in my head. Leaf, man, why don't you hit us up with some boring ass facts for the Lost Boys?
Absolutely. For the uninitiated, The Lost Boys, you got to go see it. Absolutely fantastic movie. Just quintessential 80s. It's got obviously Corey Haim in it.
The human pincushion.
Corey Feldman. No. The Lost Boys is an American multimedia franchise. I know for those
allegedly
who don't remember, there were some spinoffs straight to DVD.
Yeah, there were.
This one released in 1987. Is that true?
That's
yeah,
right.
1987. Yep. Written by Janice Fischer, James Jeremias. I believe this was their inaugural.
Jenna Fischer from The Office.
Mm-hmm. We wish.
This was their original first script. My behind the scenes notes say they sold it for $400,000.
Yeah, dude, I saw the same thing and I was like, damn.
Clean payday on that one, dude. The film was directed, of course, by Joel Schumacher, produced by Harvey Bernhard. Starring, of course, Corey Haim, Jason Patric, Kiefer Sutherland, Jami Gertz, Corey Feldman, Dianne Wiest, Edward Herrmann, Alex Winter, Jamison Newlander, and Barnard Hughes.
So, man, when I was doing some research on this, I don't know if this is confirmed or not, But it said like Corey Feldman almost got fired because he came to set coked up one day and then had to come back and apologize. And I was like, he was like fucking 12 years old.
Don't you
That
call
tracks.
Child Protective Services? What is that
No,
true?
dude. You've got
that can't
you've
be
got
true.
Corey Feldman in your movie, which is excellent.
But
but he has this little coke mustache.
oh yeah, dude. And to be honest, the Corys kind of blend together for me in research. So maybe that was Corey Haim. I don't know which Corey it was, but I'm pretty sure it was Feldman that I read. And again, allegedly.
I heard that Corey Haim blended together with a lot of actors.
It was Corey. According to our research, it was Corey Feldman. In the comment section, if we're incorrect, please let us know.
Yeah, correct us.
Did Corey Feldman freebase cocaine when he was 12 years old? Is this true? This explains everything.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll do a toot.
Yeah, he'll do it too. Well, it'd be rude if he didn't, man.
I'll do a toot.
Yeah.
You're
claustrophobic.
You want a fist in the mouth?
Just derails.
Looked at another man.
Yeah.
Dude, so
derailing.
It was filmed or created and made by, for $8.5 million, and it grossed $32.2 million in the box office. So this was not a bomb. Like originally, when I watched this, I was like, "There's no way this did well in the theaters."
Well,
but it was excellent.
And I mean, it kind of, a lot of people, kind of got their start off this one or kind of got on the radar from this one. One of those being Alex Winters, which leads me to shit stuck in my head this week.
You killed Ted, you medieval dickweed!
So that's on there because that movie taught me the phrase medieval dickweed as a kid, and my parents quickly corrected me. You can't say that.
I believe that was one of the ones I think they let slide on TV at the time.
Yeah, I saw that one in theaters though. I remember, and I was they probably let it slide on TV. I just remember being like, "Yeah, you medieval dickweed," and Mom's like, "Christopher," and I'm like,
"Yeah." I got in trouble for saying Grand Prix because I misspelled Grand Prix, like the car. My mom was like, "Nope,
nope,
you're not gonna do that one." I was like, "What, dude? I'm just
go pick out your Switch."
Sounding out.
I got in trouble for killing my brother for being a goddamn shit sucking vampire.
which is a good way to go ahead and start into this one, man. So, Leaf, let's start with our opening scene per the usual.
Absolutely, dude. The movie.
Did you spit, by the way?
I got really close. You caught me off guard. Very, very close.
Let's rewind. We swallow.
The movie, The Lost Boys, 1987, opens with a panning shot of the ocean, but it's nighttime, and as the song, and we didn't mention this, but we'll go through it. As the song "Cry Little Sister" plays, this
fucking
banger,
dude,
banger
amazing,
soundtrack.
Still amazing. Yeah,
that song written specifically for this movie.
Yep.
Like, which is kind of blows my mind. Like, I don't know how many.
Well, it makes sense, I guess. In hindsight, because it fits so perfect. Like you think of that song, you think of this movie, and just the tone. But they do it a lot, though, man.
Yeah, that child choir.
Yeah,
they're coming in
I think Goo Goo Dolls' "Iris." I think that song was written for City of Angels after he saw City of Angels.
Really?
Yeah. So it happens. I don't know how you watch a movie and have a song pop in your head, but some people that get paid a lot more money than us do, and then they cash in.
Dude, funny.
Ching.
Yeah, some people just fell upward.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes us over to Joel Schumacher.
Yeah.
God, this episode is starting off savage, man.
His movies just got worse and worse after this.
Yeah.
Ooh. Well, this one was a banger at least. As soon as
he ended up directing a.
That'll be a fun clip for Chris.
Yeah.
He hasn't used that one in a while.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as we get done with the panning shot of the ocean, we immediately see one of the main stars of the film, a group of biker punks being led by one nefarious-looking young lad named David, played by none other than Kiefer Sutherland, and he is just a great-looking dude. Man. The girls.
Obviously, this is going to be like spoiler alert city, but like somebody wrote, and I never noticed it, the order that the vampires are shown at the very beginning of the movie is like descending order of who dies. Like in the order they die. So yes.
Was that intentional?
I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it shows, him first. So he's obviously other than the head vampire. But yeah, so it's like
But it doesn't show them. It doesn't show them in that very first scene, though, right? It just shows like
it does
on the merry-go-round and all that shit.
Yeah. So what happens is as soon as the panning shot of the ocean ends, it goes to the boardwalk because the city Santa Carla, where is made up town, but it's
Santa Cruz is where they filmed
it. Right. Santa Cruz, right? So, but Santa Carla is what they said.
And they're like,
made up town.
They're like, yeah, we'll call it the murder capital of the world. They're like, what if Detroit was on the ocean?
Yeah. Yeah, so Santa Cruz was not. They were not okay with being called the murder capital of the world because in the 70s there were some like serial killers in that area.
Yeah,
they really were like the murder capital of the world.
They were like, I mean, you can't say it.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, like
it's a little on the nose. Don't you think?
It's like, can we call it like Candyland?
Can we rebrand ourselves a little bit better?
Like, yes, you're rebranded as Santa Carla, the murder capital of the world.
They're like sold.
Fine.
Yeah.
Actually, I heard they like play this movie like every summer. Like
that's fucking cool.
On that boardwalk area.
Oh, I'd love to go do that.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Yeah.
Except for all the death.
Well, I mean, I think we all come from a long line of death, so that's okay.
But these group of biker punks, led by Kiefer Sutherland, a.k.a. David in this film, are harassing another group of teenagers on the boardwalk, and this fat mall Paul Blart-looking security guard intervenes, runs them off, and of course...
Which I don't know why, but that guy, he always reminds me of that actor that played Frank's brother on Always Sunny.
I got 2 years in the slammer, and Reggie got 6.
Wait, why'd Reggie get more years than you? You beat the man half to death.
He was black. Those were the days.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I
don't. He was also the pawn shop owner in The Crow.
But like, it's one of those deaths in a movie where you're like, nah, I don't care.
Yeah,
like fuck that guy.
You're absolutely right. You're like, dude, I hated him too, man. I'm glad he's dead.
Nice, yeah. But
yeah, man,
you are a vicious bastard.
But when he is like, he's in the parking lot by himself, and it just shows that camera shot, and I thought this was so good to save money, and use. I think somebody used the analogy of let the audience imagination do the work for you on that, kind of like they did in Jaws. They did some of that stuff in Jaws where it's like from the Jaws' point of view or whatever, and then your imagination does terrible things of what happened to this person, but you
where
didn't have
Jaws
to
pops
film
out of the water.
Yeah,
it's the most romantic thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, Chris is right. Even though you don't care about Paul Blart, what you do, like, you are sort of engrossed in the scene because you hear like the teenagers laughing, and this is a sweeping shot, and like he tries to get in his car or his truck, and like the door is like ripped off as he's like pulled into the air screaming. It's an intense scene.
So I've got this in my notes. One, a lot of those, or at least some of those panning shots where it's from their point of view, it was leftover shots from Top Gun that weren't used.
Oh, so like the ones like over the water and all that shit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Oh, because there's another cliff shot later on where it's like, wow.
But but what I really liked about this was he uses this like bat screeching sound, and it like fades in and then fades back out, so it alludes to them like sweeping in,
Yeah, like flying down.
Yeah.
Dude,
it's so cool. So he's dead.
I want to stop real quick though, because on the shots, some of them are the Top Gun, but some of these are helicopter shots, I assume.
Oh.
And then some of these can also be boom camera shots, but I never could find which ones were, because like that parking lot one could potentially be a boom camera. You could have a boom that goes up high enough and you could pull it back and pull it forward and make it work for you. But I could not find anything in my research. So if you know, hit us up in the comments.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
It's like Louis' dad, Lou Ferrigno. It's like, show him your arms, Louis.
Good job, Louis. Good job, Louis. Can't wait to do pumping iron.
The very next scene, of course, is you get Lucy Emerson with her two sons, Michael and Patric. Lucy played, of course, by Dianne Wiest, and her two sons, Michael, played by Jason Kirkpatrick.
And she might actually be a vampire. I think she's looked the same for like 50 years.
And every time I see her now again, like this, or there's a movie called Sisters with Amy Poehler and Tina Fey, and she has this line.
Play-Doh Fun Factory.
You reference that movie so much,
dude. It's a fun movie, but she's like she can't she never swears, but she's mad. She's like,
because I am cuntingly disappointed in you.
So every time I see Dianne Wiest, that's what I think of. So
is that the one that what's his face was he in?
Yeah, Cena was in as a drug dealer. Pazuzu.
Shit to make your dick hard. Shit to make your dick soft. Shit'll find your dick. That shit there's from Kenya. It's supposed to be a scurvy cure in silverback gorillas, but for humans it just makes them violently masturbate.
Dude, she plays an excellent role. She pissed me off multiple times in this, and she is the quintessential. Like Chris, I know Chris at least will agree with me. She's the quintessential like 80s divorce mom.
Oh, dude, 100%.
Like,
perfect casting. Yeah,
to a T, man. And she plays her character is Lucy Emerson, and her two sons, Michael, played by Jason Patric, and Sam, played by Corey Haim. They're driving into the coastal town of Santa Carla, as we established before, a made-up town. The camera pans to the sign as they drive into town. Welcome to Santa Carla, and someone has graffitied the murder capital.
So I want to ask. I didn't look this up because I wanted us to discuss it. Really, was there some kind of influence from The Doors?
Yes. So he, I guess Schumacher. When they cast, what's his name? Michael.
Yes.
They were looking. They pushed on him for this role. He turned it down several times. They wanted a Jim Morrison lead for that. Jim Morrison. Yeah, thank you, Adam Sandler. Can never hear it another way. But so that and there's several Doors parodies in this, right? Like there's a Doors.
There's a
poster where it happens.
There's a poster in their later.
Later on, yeah. So the theme song as they're pulling into town is "People Are Strange" by the Doors, but it's not the Doors playing the song. Yeah. It's a cover version of the song.
Oh, really?
And yes, it's not actually the Doors version. Believe it or not, I'm with you, Tyler. I mean, excuse me, Shadwick. I actually believed that. I actually thought that this version was the Doors too.
Where did you get Tyler just now? Where did you pull that from?
I'm just gonna be honest with y'all right now. I'm 46 fucking years old. I'm mixing up names. I have a friend named Tyler. You know what? For the rest of this fucking podcast, you're Tyler. All right.
At least see it as
I'm not changing.
In your head, at least.
You're his Tyler Durden.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad used to call everybody Jack. Do you remember that, Chris?
Dude,
he just stopped trying to learn my friends' names, dude. And then he was probably my age too. It's happening.
I know. He was like, "What's up, Jack?" And I'm like, "You've literally known me like my entire life. You know my name's Chris."
And he did. Yep, he Jack. Actually knew your name, but he just didn't want to put any effort into anything. So it was like, the classic. But actually, a little backstory on what Chris was saying about the music. The Lost Boys actually helped Joel Schumacher get a job because Andrew Lloyd Webber chose him for the Phantom of the Opera to do, I guess, the musical score because he was so impressed with a lot of his musical choices. So
this was and this. I guess to entice some of the bands to sign away rights for this movie, he agreed to, direct some videos for them too. So good on him. But yeah, there's a Doors theme throughout this, and I think it's just because he's a fan.
Yeah, it fits though. It really fits. So that's where you hear the first version of People Are Strange. And so they arrive at their makeshift living accommodations. We find out very quickly they are moving in with Lucy's eccentric grandfather, father.
Best character in the movie to me.
Best character, not even close. I swear to God, he was so overlooked when I was a kid.
Yep.
Like now that I'm an older man, this is who I aspire to be.
Losing your mind.
Yeah. Now that we're the
dementia's.
We identify more with the old man.
Yeah.
Dude, we all have our little OCD things. Like he doesn't want the tag torn off of the TV guide.
Yes. Dude, the best part though is the very first time you meet him. So everybody arrives and he's laying on the porch.
Looks like he's dead.
No, he's just a deep sleeper.
If he's dead, can we go back to Phoenix?
Like, just like he looks like he's, and the kids are like he's dead. Corey Haim's character Sam is like, if he's dead, can we move back to like, can we move back home? And
he's like, I'm playing dead.
He literally sits up and like shocks them because this is the 80s and you could play pranks like that on people.
Playing dead. And from what I heard, doing a damn good job of it, too.
Dad. Oh.
And not be judged.
And let's just address the elephant in the room. The root beer in the fridge is definitely spiked with something. Like, let's just be honest. That dude does not. Man. That dude, I don't know why they didn't just put beer in there, because that's what it was.
They should have. And what's weird is the kids actually allude when the two kids, Michael and Sam, his brother Sam, they joke about like the marijuana plants growing outside the window. They're all like, like making fun of him because like he's clearly into all kinds of drugs and alcohol. I mean, he lives in California.
Dude, he's clearly the coolest old man we've ever met in our life.
Ever, dude. Like, he's the coolest. So they're moving into to Lucy's father's place, the kids' grandpa, and they arrive.
And he's a taxidermist, so he's got all these fucking stuffed animals everywhere.
That's what I was going to say. Let's talk about the house very quickly because, yes, he is a taxidermist. He's got dead animals all over the place that he's stuffed.
She moved in with him? Yeah, the taxidermist. The taxidermist is stuffing my mother.
So, like, we quickly find out Lucy is a divorcee or a divorcess, or whatever you call it.
She's a divorcee.
And so she's starting her life over in this city, trying to get her bearings. I don't know why she moved to the murder capital of the world, assumedly because her father lived there.
Free rent.
Well, sure, yeah.
Yeah,
that's what all divorcees do, right? They move in with somebody and live free.
So yes, but also what we almost skipped, like as they were coming into town, you get a good sense of the bearings of the movie and the town. The town is full of like punk rockers, like hippies, rejects, drug addicts.
It's full of the 1980s.
Yeah, the boardwalk is fucking hopping. I mean, like
it's hopping, dude. Like you can immediately tell, and like during the montage, you could hear some of the kids talking about like, "Can I get a job?" Like, they're like, "Nah, there's no jobs here." You know,
the only jobs you have is murder.
You see that little fat bitch from Jersey Shore walking through there?
Yeah, right.
He wants a smoosh.
So of course the first thing they do when after they settle in at Grandpa's house and he gives them the rules is they immediately go to the boardwalk. All of them, like they drive down to the boardwalk. Assumedly
this
together.
Is something. I mean, this I guess for me and Leaf, the mall was the closest thing that we ever came to this. But man, I am jealous of people that got to experience this. Like every weekend, you're just going to go.
Did
to the
anyone?
boardwalk.
Is this a real thing?
It is, man.
And dude.
It's like. California, up in Jersey and all that shit. California. But like, man, it's a real thing. They just go hang out. That's where like everybody hangs out and shit.
It was like a mini mall on the beach. So when they get there, like everybody sort of splits up and does their own thing. Obviously,
well, it's kind of romantic too, because then sometimes, like on Always Sunny, you go underneath the boardwalk and you find two homeless guys banging.
No! What was that? Two homeless guys banging each other?
Man, you wouldn't want to go there without a rum ham.
Yeah, that's true.
You think you could offer up a rum ham in place of your your neck?
Yeah. So instead of being killed by the vampire, you just give him a rum ham?
Wait a minute. Where's the rum ham?
Each one of them start to go their own separate ways. Mom wanders specifically into a video store.
I know, and it always like just punches me in the heart now when I see these in old movies. I'm like, I miss it.
Yeah. It's like for those of you who didn't grow up in the 80s and like 90s, I'm sorry. Used to be able to rent videos and movies, and so Lucy, aka Mom, goes into this video store and immediately meets a guy who is just honestly, you can see it in his face. He is just taken with her immediately, right? And he offers her a job, which of course is crazily serendipitous because there's no jobs in this town. So she's immediately exceptionally grateful for this shitty video store rental job.
And in hindsight, what an awesome gig.
And
yes,
and he has to usher out the riffraff that's in there.
Yeah.
These three biker punks walk around just, you can tell they're causing trouble. So he has.
I'll be damned.
He's like, I told you boys not to come in here anymore.
Yep.
I'll be damned if it's not the same biker punks in the beginning of the movie that were harassing people on the boardwalk before. So there they are again. Good call, Shadwick.
Yeah. So, you know what? This guy's a real jerk.
The older brother, we haven't talked.
And I hate how much or how well my face works on that reface app.
That reface app.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. The older brother, Michael, sort of just wanders around aimlessly through the crowd, but he is immediately smitten with a girl.
Oh, dude.
He immediately I don't know if Shadwick wants to just go ahead and.
Well, the worst thing about this girl is she doesn't have a square to spare. She can't spare a square.
3 squares? You can't spare 3 squares? No, I don't have a square to spare. I can't spare a square.
There's a famous thing in Seinfeld where Elaine is in a public bathroom and she's out of toilet paper.
Shit.
So she's asking the girl in the next stall. It's
was that Jami Gertz?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I did not know that. That's funny as shit.
So they actually we cannot escape this. Like we will be crucified from all of our rabid fans if we don't mention where Michael and Jami Gertz's character meet.
The sax guy on stage, who I know in your notes you said looks like a young Shawn Michaels. To me, he looks like a young Tatanka.
To me, I don't understand why we're so okay with this oiled up saxophone player.
I don't know why you're not okay with it. I mean,
no, that's what I'm saying. Why are we okay with it? I'm completely okay with it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why?
I don't.
Why? Because
that guy fucks.
In any other context, I'm like, God damn, this dude's fucking flaming gay.
Yeah.
He even had on like
the leather pants,
but the chain too. It looks like when he gets done performing, like his handlers come out with those sticks, like hook around.
Put it back.
Put him back on his meat hooks or whatever.
Yeah, put him back in there, and so he can only practice on a saxophone. That's what he's got to do. You got to get the show pony back on the road, guys. But dude, he's just in the gentleman that did this was actually Tina Turner, one of her musicians.
Yeah,
he apparently plays multiple instruments. But
he's shredded.
And he's just jacked. And I saw some interviews.
Tim Capello.
Yeah, I saw some interviews later on, man, and he is still jacked, even like later on in life. But it's just that charisma, man.
Well, I mean, it's like a horse's cock. It's all he's got.
It's all he's got. But like you see him, just he's getting the crowd pumped up. He's doing the sax. He's singing. And he's during this, doing.
Well, we're going to get a. He's got that fist pump,
dude. He is getting it, bro. I'm just telling you, he's fucking getting it, and his energy.
I bet he was getting it from somebody later.
Dude, whoever he wanted in the crowd, he just had to point. But
he's like,
hey boy, you look mighty cute in them jeans.
Yeah. Shout out Eddie Murphy episode. But yeah, dude. This guy, and it's funny. This is like what everybody remembers from this fucking movie. And what is it? Is it 30 seconds? Maybe.
It's okay. I want to say the scene.
We'll find out when they clip us for it.
Yeah,
I could definitely tell you it is no more than 30 seconds, and it's not even continuous. Like it cuts back and forth between. Yeah. Michael looking at Jami Gertz's character, who is, of course, we find out in just a moment, Star.
Yeah.
And back and forth, they're glancing, and then it just keeps cutting back to this, like, doing the saxophone, and he's just rocking. This song's playing, dude.
It's gyration.
It is all that is beautiful about the 80s. And I'm telling you, back then, what was crazy
shaved
is, like,
chest, oiled.
for those of you who don't remember, we just accepted it as part of the movie. That's what I think a lot of people don't realize is that we were just
point. There's no point to this scene other than them locking eyes for the first time, which you could have done 1,000 different ways. But
I have to imagine this was just like a highlight reel for Schumacher to beat off with later. Like, I mean, he was creating his own porn,
dude. I think too. I wonder if you're that, the guy, like, they call you in to do this one scene. This is probably a 1-day shoot.
Gotta be.
And then you're done with it, and you probably forget about it because you're touring with Tina Turner. You're like an accomplished musician, and then like fucking 30 years later, people are like, "Dude, it's the sax guy at the Comic-Con." Like,
you think he got the call, and he's like, "Fuck yes, dude. I want to be a movie." And they're like, "All right, it's being directed by Joel Schumacher." And he's like,
they're like, "Do you want to be on the big screen or not?" Okay.
This is a story he told to get his dick sucked at one of his after his concerts. He was like, I was in a movie with Kiefer Sutherland. Right? That's how he used it.
He was like in line behind Corey Haim.
Yes. So speaking of Corey Haim, the other brother wanders into a comic book store in on the boardwalk and meets two of the other main characters.
Goddamn frog boys.
The Frog Brothers, which I always maintain needed their own massive spinoff. Wasn't it talked about? I didn't find anything on that.
It was, from what I understood, I think there was a comic book about the Frog Brothers at some point. But I guess, I don't know what happened. I guess the Coreys took off after this.
Yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and say it. This was probably my least favorite performance from Corey Feldman. Because he just like oversold. He said that he took influence from Chuck Norris and
Rambo.
Yeah.
Got a problem, guys? Just scoping your civilian wardrobe. Pretty cool, huh? For a fashion victim.
I'm going to disagree with Shavit completely.
Well,
I love. Let me listen.
You can be wrong sometimes.
Listen, Tyler. So here's what happens. I love this performance because he oversells it, and let me tell you why. And I don't think he was intentional, but looking back, let me tell you why I love this, because he's wearing Vietnam like fatigues
that's
throughout
what I
the thing, and he's acting like he's like shell shocked.
Dude, he's seen some shit.
He's seen some shit, and he's a kid, and he's like he always talks like this, like he's harder than he is. And of course, the script sort of betrays that, obviously, because when they finally come in contact with the vampires later,
like,
you can tell he has no idea what he's doing. He has no idea what he's doing, and that to me is so funny. That's why I love his character.
I've known people like that though, that are like so high on their own bullshit that like they've believed it. They've done it so long that's actually they believe the bullshit they're selling now.
Yeah,
I met a bunch of those as a kid. I remember there's one kid that told me that he did voiceover work for the cartoon Silverhawks.
I remember you told me that.
And he was like, "Yeah, I do." Like, I forgot what the character's name was, but he's like, "Yeah, I do the voiceover work for that." And I was like, "Well, you're not in the credits." And he was just like, I just started though. And I'm like, thinking back, I'm like, how fucking long were you going to run with this, man? Like, you obviously are a child. You're not doing voiceover work for Silverhawks, but.
And why? Nobody's getting any pussy in the fucking third grade.
Third grade from that shit. It was just. So anyway, I know kids like this because these dudes are obviously like full of shit, as like we said, you find out later on. But you get some you get like, they're in the comic book store. And they basically test what's Corey's character's name?
Sam.
They test Sam's like comic knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And then he Shadwicks out on him, and then they're like, "Oh shit, you know comics."
Yeah. He basically he pretty much puts him to shame, like he knows.
What is
more
that
than
comic
them.
he's looking for? Is it Batman number 14?
Actually, I'm looking for a Batman number 14.
That's a very serious book, man. Only 5 in existence.
I can't remember.
He pulls the biggest power play here. It's like something like a rare comic, and then both the Frog Brothers are like, there's only like 4 of those in existence, and Corey Haim, Sam's character's like
4, actually. I'm always looking out for the other 3.
Like, oh, dude, it was a baller move.
And he's like, did you know I voiced on Silverhawks?
Then he like starts telling them about how they're like Superman comics are out of order.
Yeah,
like Red Kryptonite's not even been introduced yet.
Yeah, he goes all in on them, and they give him a comic book though.
Yeah,
and
he's not into
basically,
horrors.
Yeah, he's not into horror comics.
Actually, he's not into horror comics. Yeah, he's a little puss. He doesn't like scary comic books. But you know what?
He likes to read stuff in his pound puppy pajamas.
This is an important scene though, because the Frog Brothers give him this comic book, and this is their welcome. If you don't realize what's happening, this is their welcome present to him to the town.
Right.
They find out he's new there. They're like, hey, welcome to the town. But listen, this town's got some terrible things happening in history.
Notice anything weird?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's got some demons. So he takes the comic book and heads home. There's not too much that happens.
Isn't this like a scene too where you see like they do a great job of the teenagers around the comic bin outside?
Hey! Come back here!
Near the boardwalk where they're doing the pacing, they're doing the giggling, so you know they're about to fucking steal some shit or whatever, and then they just they just do the snatch and run, and like I thought that was, I don't know, like I mean I guess it breaks up the scene or whatever, but it just I was like, God, why did kids do that? Like, why don't you just go up and steal the shit? Why are you like giggling and hovering before you do something bad?
Yeah, it's all part of like your awkwardness. I think as a teenager,
Yeah.
I agree with you. There's just like that. They tell on themselves like
right
half
immediately.
the time.
Like,
It's
and I
just
did the
kid
same shit before I was gonna like pull a prank or do some shit. Like I was already laughing before I did it. You know.
I went to school with a guy that would steal stuff from Blockbuster Music all the time. He would wear this giant, I think it was an Orlando Magic jacket, like one of those big poofy
starters.
ones.
Yeah.
He would wear it like all the time, year round. But he did that because he was always stealing shit. I don't even know. Like, remember Blockbuster Music? They had the CDs in like those long plastic
things
cases.
that would set off
So I don't even know how he was doing that.
So he's the reason that I couldn't wear my Muggsy Bogues Charlotte Hornets windbreaker.
That was all the people that were beating your ass.
Yeah, no, that was the old starter jacket. Shout out John Finkel, that's in his book. Go grab his book. The 90 things about the 90s. But yeah, man, I just think that's funny that they captured that so well in like a 5-second little clip of you know them about to do some bad shit and you see it coming, but.
It was really. That's a really good scene, man. Like, and the whole vibe of this movie just is pure 80s. And so everybody goes back another night, and this scene sort of bleeds into the last scene because like they're wearing different clothes, but you can basically tell the boardwalk's where everybody hangs out. Like that's where you go.
Fucking
like,
awesome. 'Cause it's on the beach.
Dude,
you got
it's
sand
like
in your shoes. You hook up with a
like
girl on the
mall.
beach. It's like fucking with sandpaper.
Or if you're from Saudi Daisy, this is the Walmart you hang out at 11 a.m. But like before COVID, where you just chill in the parking lot with your boys and girls.
Maybe this is like the baseball fields for me when I was a kid.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've
man.
hung out there before. I know for Chris.
Except you couldn't buy anything there except for watered down Cokes.
Chris and I used to hang out
the drink, not
right. Not the Corey.
not Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
Chris and I used to hang out at the theater. Like
dude,
every night
after we closed down,
work.
and then we just have all our friends come up there, and that would be where we hung out because they gave a building a responsibility to a 20-year-old child. They were like, here are the keys. Just don't break anything. And I'm like, you said break everything? Awesome.
Yeah. Now imagine if that was a bank.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's not do that either. But I mean, hey, kids are smarter now, more responsible. But
yeah.
So both the brothers go back to Michael and Corey go back to the boardwalk the next night, and Sam returns to the comic book store, and Michael goes sort of wandering where he meets up with Star, Jami Gertz's character. And that's where they finally have their interaction, and there's chemistry there. You can feel it. It's 80s chemistry. He's like, you want to go get like a burrito at Taco Bell? And she's like, sure.
She's like, do they still have enchiladas?
And I'm just like, no, damn it. Garbage place.
Taco Bell doesn't even have the taco salads anymore.
That's crazy.
No.
Did you know that Taco Bell comes with free diarrhea?
I did know that.
Good.
Yes,
Taco
we
Bell.
did.
Sponsor our podcast.
A sponsor. Damn it.
Yeah.
We're just a brand risk. Like, let's just be honest with ourselves.
We're fine with horse and or rat meat. It's
just
put enough hot sauce on
that's
it.
ignorant.
You know, I'm gonna eat it.
Put some fire sauce on it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
And so she agrees to actually go to like dinner with him which is awesome. So he gets on the back of Michael's Kawasaki, and unfortunately, right at that moment, the biker punks show up. Kiefer Sutherland.
Where you going, Star?
For a ride. This is Michael.
Pulls a greaser moment, or excuse me, a Soch moment.
I'm gonna have to correct you for just a second.
Mm-hmm.
He is riding a '77 Honda.
Oh, I didn't think you knew that, dude.
Nice.
Well done.
It's a 75. The year was a 77. The size was a 75 because I was looking at that when he's like riding into town at the very first of it, and I was like, man, I think I had that exact fucking motorcycle.
Oh wow!
But mine was an 80.
Okay.
So there was a 75, an 80, 100. I think it's like a 120.
Okay.
And then they keep getting more and more powerful. But the one he was riding was a real puss of a motorcycle.
Nice.
Was it?
But it was a street and trail bike.
Yeah.
So that's the reason it had the headlight, and I can't remember if maybe his had mirrors on it.
Nice.
But once he starts hanging out with the guys later, it changes. He gets like a bigger bike, and it's black.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. So
that's
one thing that I forgot to mention early on is Kiefer Sutherland had long hair before, when he was cast for this movie, and he shows up with that Sting haircut, the short the short mullet with the bleach blonde. Sting, the artist, not the wrestler, although both had similar haircuts. But anyway, back in the 80s. But yeah, I guess Schumacher was fucking pissed, and then it turns out that became like an iconic do, and it's one of the trademarks of the movie. So
how does it worked back then, it still works now, like the rest of them have sort of like ballad rocker haircuts to the rest of the gangsters, or excuse me, the biker punks that are with
but he
him.
stands out. I mean, like that haircut to me makes him stand out as the fucking leader guy.
So
it does.
So we're talking about his look. Also, when I think they had just like started filming, he was trying to show off for a girl and he was on his bike I think he was like trying to like ride a wheelie or whatever, but he wrecked and broke his wrist. So like to hide the cast, that's the reason he wears those like black gloves,
which also look cool. So he somehow looked cooler after he broke his fucking wrist because he's got those gloves the whole time. Yeah, I just picked that one up this last time when I was doing some research. I was like, oh shit, man, good on him. But also, like, side note, Sax Guy is actually in San Francisco this night, so he's moved on his tour.
That's never referenced in the movie.
He had a stop in Sacramento the night after this. He had 2 days off and then back across the country to Boston. So just throwing that in there.
Chris will keep giving us an update on the on Sax Guy's tour as we progress. And so immediately Kiefer Sutherland's character David shows up, and he just takes Michael's bitch like right out from under me. But like Kiefer's like, and like the girl gets off of Michael's motorcycle and gets on David's.
Yeah.
And they like,
and he's so cool about it too. Like he don't even tell her. He's just like, Star.
Yeah, I know. It's like, dude, how do you do that? And this,
dude, give me that.
We talked about this off air, and I'm even hesitant to bring it up because it's for some reason it's a pet peeve of mine. Everyone focuses on how little dialogue David has in this movie. And I don't fucking care. I don't know. I had like 4 or 5 fucking articles that were like, did you know David has only X amount of lines in the movie? And I was like, who
that's
cares?
the power of stoicism, right?
Yeah, dude. It's good. Like, stop. That's not a fact, Google.
It is a fact.
That's not an unknown fact about fucking this movie. Like,
maybe he's like me in crowds. I tend to like sit back and listen because you learn a lot more from people when you listen.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
and I
yeah,
tend to
and
just
he
act a
has
fool because I need attention.
And that's why here I'm always interrupting everybody because I got to get it out.
But plot-wise, like, it makes a lot of sense because you find out later on there's a reason that the biker punks are supposed to be keeping a low profile. And honestly, to me, I feel that. I feel like there's always more that he wants to say, but he doesn't.
Right.
Like, I feel like he's very stoic and reserved for a reason, and you find out in the movie that there's a reason for that.
Dude,
so yeah, I don't know why
badass,
they're
man. Yeah.
I don't know why they're word counting his script as if he got paid per
Because-
word like
yeah.
a shit rate voiceover
Like
artist.
this is what it is it's just people are looking to grab anything they can grab, and I mean,
Yeah.
I get it, but back to the movie again. Don't forget Sax Guy in San Francisco this night. So
yeah, and so but Kiefer does offer David, his character offers an olive branch. He's like, dude, why don't you come with us? And immediately, like Shadwick said, Michael's character's like, yeah, you guys know I can't keep up with you on my shitty bike. And David's
where my bike can't beat you.
My bike can't beat you, yeah. And David, in the most charismatic way, is just like,
you don't have to beat me, Michael. You just have to try and keep up.
If you can even just stay with us, you're going to get our respect. And, of course, being a young teenager, is there any bigger challenge
accepted,
you would rock? Dude, I'd have done it. I don't know a man in my friend group that wouldn't have taken that challenge in an instant.
Yeah, I don't even know how to ride a bike, and I would have been like, awesome, and then it's just Pee Wee Herman.
You're falling off the cliff.
You know, one thing I remember about watching this as a kid was I always thought that, like, oh, I'm 11 or 12 years old. This is how 16 and 17-year-olds are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Same.
And I mean, even though I grew up in a fucking small little town in northwest Georgia.
Dude, but as
like,
soon as you
I'm
hit
like,
16,
I'm
shit's
sure
gonna
everybody's
change.
like this.
Yeah. When you hit 16, shit's going to change.
Yeah,
It
everybody's so cool.
Dude, and honestly, I found out, so my wife is actually raised very like Christian conservative, and what I found out from her was she was witness to some crazy things that even I didn't experience, coming up when,
like worshiping invisible guys in the sky.
Well, that's the thing. Listen, Tyler, I'm not sick of your shit, dude.
I'm just trying to be part of the conversation. I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
You're in it, but what her point is that a lot of people who were raised like Christian conservative mimicked a lot of their behavior off of what they saw in movies, which those of us who live like normal, like middle class, like lower middle class lives realize that's insane.
Yeah.
Like, you can't live your life with like eyes wide, like shut kind of parties that you saw in a film, but she saw some stuff like that going on a lot of times.
I mean, we can try. We just have to get above the lower middle class, maybe like upper middle class, or like we just need to go. We need to go 2 steps below Diddy, because I found out like when you get to the Diddy step, some shit goes wrong.
Yeah, somewhere between Diddy and Leaf's rich friend Trey.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle there. I think that's a good goal to set.
That's a sweet spot. That's where everybody should aim. That's the American dream.
Dude, this scene though. I never really rode dirt bikes very much, but this just made me nervous.
I did.
They were fucking getting it, bro, on this scene.
I've got to think that beach had to have been like
I
matted
thought that
down.
too. Yeah,
they
I
had
thought that too.
They had to have like fucking steamrolled that or something
to get this much grip, and like, I mean, they're whipping the bikes and the turns and everything.
Such a cool scene, dude. And
if
the
you
fog
go like
is what makes.
If you go to like beaches that we go to, like in the Gulf of America,
God.
You're going to hit.
It's topical.
Is that not what it is?
Google says so.
Yeah. Google.
Google.
So did you mean the NBA?
But I love this scene because, like, as Michael's trying to race and keep up with obviously the biker punks, it's getting foggier. Like Shadwick says, like the terrain is just wild, and
the one thing that always scared me, and I never tried, was going downstairs. on a bike.
Oh yeah, dude. Because I mean, you're like 1 second away from ass over tea kettle at the front of that thing.
Yeah.
Like it's
going
bad times.
Yeah, on a motorized vehicle.
And then it's going to land on top of you too.
Yep, and
once you flip over.
It's gonna suck. But yeah, man, this I guess stunt guys got their fucking money's worth here. They probably had fun doing it too. It looked like a blast. And then you have the as the fog starts to clear, he lays his bike down because he doesn't want to go over the fucking cliff.
Yeah, they're playing a game of like cliff chicken.
Yeah.
And they could kind of tell, and like you see Michael looking over at David, and David's looking over at him. It's just like, let's do this.
Yeah.
And Michael's like, no. Like at the very last second, like Michael, like you said, he careens and slides his bike. To the edge, almost going over, and
but it's such a peer into like the teenage mindset. Like, when somebody's like, "I bet you won't do it," and you're like, "I bet I will," and it's like you just would do it as a kid. You're like, "All right, let's fucking go."
Yep, and we're going to talk about that shit next week, guys.
Yep, yep. Just playing outside as kids, our recess episode, gonna be awesome. But yeah, so he lays it down, and he's like, "You guys are fucking nuts." And then Leaf carries on from there.
So a fight ensues because Michael's really upset that David would basically try to murder him or get him to careen off the edge of a cliff. Yeah, Michael punches David, Kiefer's character, and every guy on the planet is immediately like, okay, it's on. The fight's about to happen.
Just
Kiefer, yeah, looks like he's just ready to mess somebody up, but nothing happens. Kiefer's like, hey, I know you're mad. He pulls a 180, and this is almost my favorite scene in the movie. Acting wise, he's like, I get you're mad. I understand. I would be mad too. Instead, why don't you come back to like our hideout, like our secret lair?
Isn't that funny as shit though? Because again, back into the teenage mind. As a teenager, as an outsider, you want to be accepted so bad that you're like, okay.
Yeah, and Michael does. Oh, you tried to kill me a minute ago?
Cool.
I'm in, dude.
Yeah, I'm in
the secret lair, bro. Let's go, dude.
He's like, next week I could be trying to kill somebody.
Yeah, and he's like, next week, and he's like, and where's Sax guy gonna be next week? And I'm like, he'll be in Cincinnati, Ohio on Wednesday.
He's gonna draw like a
you won't be able to see him past Tina Turner's legs.
Yeah, but dude, had some good ones.
That's exactly what happens. Like he's sort of like he's smitten with Star.
Oh yeah,
and Star is part of this biker group. So
you think Sax guy was using Tina Turner's like leg lotion to
he
oil himself up?
Like, I mean, that's how you get that sheen.
I mean, Diddy wasn't out. Yeah,
all right. So Star keeps giving him what are they called in Ted 2?
Fuck me eyes?
Yes, he keeps giving him those eyes over and over again. So it's like
give me my precious eyes.
Yeah, he just keeps being like, he looks over at her and he's just like, well, I mean, what could possibly go wrong with 4 grown ass dudes and me, and they probably don't like me. Let's go back to their secret lair.
Their secret lair, which of course this is where you find out. You see some of the posters that Shadow was talking about.
Posters and
this is a really cool little synopsis of what that place is. Like David's telling them as they're walking in that it was the biggest resort in Santa Carla, and then like I guess early 1900s a big earthquake. It's like too bad they built it on the fault because this earthquake just like swallowed it up.
Yeah.
So it's all underground. Like there's access like from a cliff from the ocean.
What is that, like 10 seconds and it all makes sense? Like it's so good.
It's brilliant. Brilliant. And so basically what it is a cave, right? But instead it's a fully furnished, like half-wrecked hotel cave. It's like Chris said, it's brilliant the way that they explained it, and you immediately accept it because like immediately you're like, what is this? What is their hideout, right? Like without thinking about it.
So it was fake. It was a set that was built on the Stage 12 at Warner Brothers.
Okay.
And they said it was a fire hazard because of all the candles that they had lighting.
Oh
it.
shit! Yeah.
Like,
that's always funny to me, like how far Hollywood goes for this shit. Like these entire sets are built and they're just torn down like after fucking 2 days. Yeah, they're like, all right, cool, we're done next. Like, where's all that shit going? How can I get all of it?
And Kiefer Sutherland said that during like long shoots in the cave, it got kind of hard because they were breathing smoke from all the candles.
Oh, I'm sure it wasn't ventilated. OSHA was just fucking sleeping on the job. Jesus Christ, OSHA.
Corey Feldman was like freebasing cocaine in his trailer before the shoot. Like,
or in the
rules.
cave.
This is the 80s, dude.
Yeah, or in the cave. You know, who knows?
Kiefer Sutherland's behind him, shooting him up, dude.
So we get the gym here of when they start playing fucking mind games with Michael, and you get the Chinese food with the rice. So what I did find out, so they give him the rice, and he's like,
Maggots, Michael. You're eating maggots. How do they taste?
And so he looks down, and then it's bugs, and he freaks out, and then it cuts back, and it's just rice. So apparently, the bugs were not going to just move on their own. They're dormant most of the time. And I thought this was so fucking savage. They dropped like lemon juice on them to make them move so they could get the shot that they wanted.
No.
So I guess they got to add a little acid to get them moving, and there you go.
We, my wife does not like vampire movies, but we watched this together, and we actually went to the Thai place, Rain, last night. And she's like, what are you going to get? And I'm like, I'm trying to decide between maggots or worms.
She's like, all right, I'm out of here.
He's like, God damn it.
How sexually excited would you have been if she let you and be like, they're just noodles, Michael?
They're just noodles, Tyler.
They're just noodles, Tyler.
How are those maggots?
Yeah, I know.
You're eating maggots, Michael. How do they taste?
How do they taste?
Yeah, and this...
You know what she actually took issue with in the scene was how many times David calls Michael by his name.
Yeah, that was another stupid fact I saw doing research. They were like, Michael is the most used word in this movie. I'm like, who's doing this?
Michael 138 times. It's like, I don't care. I didn't notice it because
counting?
They do say his name a lot though, but it's like they're trying to get his attention. They're trying to like initiate him into whatever this club
That's
is.
what I told her. I was like, well, you repeat people's names when you're trying to like gain their trust.
Right.
Exactly. In fact, I worked for Best Buy, and we were forced to use people's. We were forced to use people's names no less than 3 times in an interaction for multiple reasons because it increased engagement psychologically. Like, this is how far it went back then, right?
Jesus Christ.
Psychologically, as well as mentally for the employees. After the 3rd or 4th time you use somebody's name, it actually locked into your mind.
That's in advertisement too. If you notice on like radio advertisements and shit, it's almost always the name will be said at least 3 times. And that's because of the same thing.
Dude, and that's where I got I agree with Shadwick. Like, that's where I got this feeling that they're manipulating him. And so this is another scene that I really love because that you get a sense of the vampire powers, which we did away with because of stupid ass science where we have to explain everything. Like, we just can't have something mysterious or strange, right? Like, it always has to be like explained. And so like for some reason, this group of biker punks is able to manipulate what Adam sees and thinks.
Well, that's what I love. That's what I love, like with Michael in this, where they change the noodles to worms. They change the rice to maggots, and he's just like, I mean, but she's really hot.
She's
So
I mean, some crazy shit's going on in my brain, but like, she's really hot, guys. So,
but those little tricks, like. At first, you think they're kind of just having fun with him, but it's actually part of a long con, like because they trick him twice, right? And then they bring out the bottle of blood for him.
Yeah,
and
chug,
and then
or wine, depending on.
So
what you
it's
see.
like you fool me once, fool me twice, and then she's like,
It's blood.
Yeah, sure.
Exactly, which is great. Again, smart fucking writing.
Yep.
And then
It's really smart.
After he chugs what I assume is malt liquor, due to his hangover he has the next day, he goes. They take him out to this iconic fucking train scene, which trains were always in 80s movies, right? That was
Stand By Me.
Yeah,
Stand by Me. Yeah,
there's a couple other ones that there's trains in there.
Wasn't Kiefer Sutherland in Stand By Me? He was a dude that murdered the guy.
Yeah,
they were
he was
running
in Stand
from.
By Me. There you go. Good call,
damn,
Shadwick.
dude. I'll be damned.
I'll be damned.
Well,
Ace
I'll be damned.
Merrill was his name in the movie.
I'll be damned.
Thank you.
But yeah, man, you get this iconic train scene you see pictures and all kinds of shit all the time of what people have done with this.
So I've heard a couple of different things here. One was that this was just a set that was built, and it was only like 6 feet off the ground. And the other thing I heard was there was a shot where I think it was Corey Haim was supposed to be like hanging from this thing that got cut, and he got trapped up there for a little bit or something. Like his harness was messed up.
What I read was you can still go see this today. It's a walking bridge now.
The train, according to our research, the train bridge scene was filmed on the Iron Horse Trailhead Trestle Bridge, 40 miles north of Los Angeles.
I believe there was a
interstate.
platform 6 feet below them on that for safety reasons or whatever. But yeah.
So they didn't. So maybe it was a combination of the two things.
Yeah, you can still go to it. Whenever we take this show on the road, we'll have to go to all these iconic places
and hang from the bridge
and fall to our deaths. Yes, the way God intended it. But yeah, man, you get this iconic scene where they're holding on. The train comes. They drop down. They're holding on. The train comes by, and then one by one, the other kids are just fucking dropping. And he's like, what the fuck? Because, like, Alex Winters, that medieval dickweed, falls first, I think. And then, like, they just keep going one by one. And Michael's like, what the fuck is happening? These dudes are dying. He finally,
dropping.
he finally falls. It has this weird, groggy, foggy scene. And then he wakes up basically hungover as me, Leaf, and Shadwick are after a cabin trip in our beds being like,
Mike, wake up. It's Mom.
Michael's doing all this because he's basically being peer pressured, and as a young man, like, I felt each and every one of these scenes later on when I watched it, especially as I got older, right? He's challenged to the motorcycle race, which he nearly gets killed. He's teased and harassed, but challenged to drink the wine, right? Which Star, his wannabe girlfriend, warns him his blood, and they're and it could be poison, it could be anything. He doesn't know.
He
these
wants
guys.
to fit in.
He wants to fit in.
This is like day one shit, man. This is like you just met these dudes.
You just met. This all happens in one single night. It's basically 3 scenes, and then they're like, "Let's go hang from the train tracks as a train passes over," and like he's screaming, and they're going crazy. And dude, and he does every single thing because he wants to fit in, and every step of the way, and we've alluded to this already, he's just getting manipulated. He's just getting used.
Did you guys ever change schools? Like, were you ever like the new kid?
Yep. Yeah. It was great. I was eating lunch by myself for like 4 fucking weeks.
What, so I gotta sit here and eat dessert alone like I'm fucking Steven Glansberg?
Yeah, I got my ass kicked in the first week.
Yeah, it was great. It was really fun.
It was 3rd grade. It never happened again after that.
You're talking to my guy all wrong. It's the wrong tone. Do it again, I'll stab you in the face with a soldering iron.
Also, we forgot to talk about the same night, while Michael's getting inducted to the biker punk freaking cult, Sam goes back to talk to the Frog Brothers, and they have a very interesting conversation that moves the plot along.
Yep.
So for all intents and purposes, they have a deep discussion about the infestation of the supernatural in the town, right? And they force that another comic book, or maybe it was the same comic book, upon Sam, and expose the town's darker side. Right. There's nefarious things happening here.
And I think Kiefer Sutherland's character is like, hey, our leader, Mr. Manson, will be here a little bit later on. Charles Manson, I don't know if you know about him, but
you don't know,
he has the best drugs. Yeah. he gets them from the CIA.
Yeah.
And so, Michael wakes up the next day with the worst hangover he's ever experienced. Just another Tuesday for Chris, Shadwick, and I. But
except we don't get to sleep in until 1 o'clock.
Yeah. You get he wakes up. He's hungover. He's groggy. The light is fucking with him. The dog's like fucking mad at him or whatever. Like,
doesn't like him.
His mom's on the phone, right? Sam's bringing him the phone, and like he tells Sam to like give him those sunglasses because he's laying in bed and the blinds are down and everything, but like you said, like the sun's bothering him. So Sam, he was like, "You got to put on sunglasses to talk on the phone."
Yeah,
but But you know, and then then the mom says something like,
"Look, Michael, you know, you come home in the middle of the night, you sleep all day. I work all day. Sam is always alone."
So mom calls the kids. She's worried about Michael. He's acting super strange. He stayed out all night. She's scared he's probably on drugs. As if her dad isn't like on all kinds of stuff in the other room, right? But no. But she informs them she's going to be going on a date with old Max, like her.
Because that's okay in the
boss.
80s. In the 80s, your boss can take your new employee out on a date. And
They work at a video store. It's
he is the HR department.
Yeah, he is the HR department.
Yeah, she's got to find a new. She's got to find a new father.
Every kid needs a father.
Every kid needs a father. She needs to find another sugar daddy. Is what needs to happen.
Does,
he owns a video store, for God's sake.
Swank video store.
And you know what? We don't know. He might have kids that he's looking for a mother for.
Yeah,
he might. We don't know anything about this guy.
Except he's goofy as fuck.
That's what I was about to say. He's a quintessential goofy 80s guy. Now listen, you watch this and you're like he's perfectly normal. No, this guy was a nerd even in the 80s. This guy was such a. Kiefer Sutherland was cool. His group of biker punks were really cool. This guy sucks.
This dude reminded me of Max Hedstrom.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yes. Oh, and his name's Max.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yes.
Wait a second. I'm drawing some parallels here.
It's coming together.
Yeah.
But so, like, after this is where you find out, you know, when she says she's going on the date, he's got the whole I'm a vampire quirks. Again, the dog is barking at him. His reflection sucks. We talked about the sunlight's bothering him.
Yeah, well, on the phone call, she's wanting him to stay home to watch Sam because she's going to go on a date, right?
That night.
Which, how old is Sam supposed to be in this? Like 11, 12?
I mean, it's a new town, and she can't ask her dad to do anything because he's just fucking hammered all the time.
But he has his own date. Yeah, he's going out with was it Widow Hamilton?
It's the Widow Johnson. Grandpa might be gay. I don't really know what's going on with that one. But he's dating an old widow, and so Grandpa leaves the house to go date some
dude
to get some widow ass.
Yeah, I'm just gonna drop by some of my handiwork to the Widow Johnson.
What'd you stuff for her, Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, well, and he didn't have any cologne, so he used a little Windex.
To freshen up.
Hey, man, whatever works. Yeah, dude, whatever works for Grandpa.
And also, don't forget, he brings her like 2 dead animals that he like taxidermed himself like his kids.
And I believe the line he said, he's like, hopefully, much like these animals, I can stuff you tonight.
Yeah. I did know. So one of the animals that he put into Sam's room was a stuffed beaver.
Yeah. See, Grandpa's down with it, man. Grandpa's doing all the good stuff.
Grandpa's
he got me.
Yeah.
I was about to say it.
And so Mom is on a date with Max. Grandpa is off trying to bang an old widow.
Yeah.
And the brothers are left alone by themselves. And Chris, and like, I don't know if it's Chris or Shabbat that just mentioned it. Like, he is too old to be left alone.
He's also too old to take a goddamn bath.
Like, he is. A bubble bath.
A bubble bath.
Dude, and also, like, Hollywood stopped doing that. It's like, I mean, I guess they have stopped now, or maybe they haven't. But this would happen. With what we know now, is seen to me in a different light when there's like a lot of kids in bathtub scenes back in the day where I'm like, maybe let's not.
Like you're in a bubble bath like alone, and you're like it like when.
Yeah, you got to have your brother in there so you can lay a turd in the.
Yeah, like Eddie Murphy said. Yeah,
like a submarine. Like. and so. This is when all of the adults are out of the house, and this is when the two brothers have their interaction, and we realize Michael is sick. Mm-hmm. You already know what's happening.
Yeah, so
he's showing all the signs.
I want to point something out. So it starts off. Sam's upstairs taking his bubble bath like a 4-year-old, and he's singing whatever.
The bubbles do the work, so you don't have to.
He's like. Shampoo is better. But
conditioner is better.
But Michael's downstairs and he gets his carton of milk out, right? Mm-hmm. And he starts to drink the milk, and I guess he's going through the change like women in their 40s. And he like cramps up and he spills the milk, spills across the floor, and he's like, I don't want milk, I want blood.
Yeah.
So he's like,
you can hear,
his
heartbeat.
Yeah, so it starts turning into a real fucking horror movie all of a sudden because he's like creeping up these dark stairs, whatever. But the milk carton is what I want to talk about. So after all this happens, the mom rushes home, right? So basically, Michael goes up the stairs and he's about to attack Sam. Mm-hmm. His big ass dog Nanook, which is what is he?
Alaskan Malamute.
So, dude, I had an Alaskan Malamute when I was a kid, 120 pounds.
Jeez, big ass fucking dog.
Yeah, dude. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so Nanook attacks Michael to protect Sam, and then Sam comes down and he lays out that great line about
You're a vampire, Michael. My own brother, a goddamn shit-sucking vampire.
Which is just great.
He's like what's till mom finds out?
Yeah.
So he does call his mom, and she like rushes home in a panic, and then she
freaks out.
Yeah, she freaks out, but after she kind of like lays into the boys for ruining her date, she sees that milk laying in the floor, and she says something about that, and she sits the milk carton up on the counter, and it's a perfect fucking thing because it ties in Stars. I'm guessing it's her little brother.
Yeah, and it's him right on that milk carton.
Yeah. So
he's missing
Eddie Munster.
So here was my question when Christy and I were watching it. I was like, when did that fade out? The missing kids on the milk carton thing. So I looked that up, and that's a big thing when we were kids, right?
Massive, yeah. And it was on all
massive.
TV shows, on movies and shit.
It lasted 6 years.
Really?
Really?
It must. You know what it must be? It must be that it was in so many movies and cartoons and shit we saw that we just assumed that it was longer than it did.
It was just a reference. Like,
do you guys ever remember actually in person seeing a missing person on the back of a milk carton? Because I do not.
No, dude.
And that's what we were talking about. So that started with one dairy farm in 1984, and then it got adapted kind of nationwide. With some of the main dairies, but then by like 1990, I think they pretty much went away from it because they started going to like plastic jugs, which is what I remember.
Same here.
But
also they stopped caring about kids.
Well, they did.
And
then
fuck them kids.
And then I think it was 96 maybe with the Amber Alert was introduced.
Gotcha.
So that completely killed it.
Gotcha.
But I just thought it was interesting, something that we've known as like a staple our whole life. Is like
that's crazy. I mean, 6 years.
Yeah, like you could even like remember threatening people like they're going, your picture's going to wind up on a milk carton.
Yep.
Yeah, that was an insult, dude.
And it was just fucking 6 years.
That's crazy.
Screw it. Let's just derail it completely. You guys remember "Runaway Train" from Soul?
Dude, yeah, dude.
The music video.
There was all kinds of like versions of that because as the kids were found, they would put like new kids on there.
They would update new. Yeah. So for those who don't know, uninitiated, dude, the band Soul Asylum had a song named "Runaway Train," and it would just like it was obviously the band, but it would show missing kids, dude. Yeah. And they found a bunch of them. I don't know how many.
What's great?
I never knew that.
Yeah.
So what's great about that is whoever pitched this idea to like, hey, we'll be able to like find kids with this video. I know that somebody in Hollywood or record execs like, yeah, man, that's great free publicity. And they're like, yeah, we'll find the kids. And he's like, yeah, but we'll be on MTV every day because they want to find the kids. Do you not see? I don't understand where you're getting the worrying about the kids thing here. Money, guys, money.
I know. We watched Gladiator 2 last night, and spoiler alert, at the end of the guy, he's trying to bring like these two armies together, talking about peace or whatever. And I was like, and then somebody up in that big ass building on the top of the hill was like, yeah, but if we make swords and then promote war, we can make a ton of money.
Make an ass load of money, man.
We're gonna have to kill this guy that's talking about peace.
Yep. So now Sam, he calls his boys the Frog Brothers, Edgar and Alan, who me and Shadwick are morons. Just now picking that one up. But anyway. They confirm that Michael is indeed a shit-sucking vampire.
They do. He has all the signs. He is, and for those of you who don't know, or we didn't mention it, his reflection is fading in the mirror. He can't obviously stand or tolerate sunlight. The the dog freaking like instantly recognizes him and is an enemy. The family dog can't stand him now. There's one more. I can't remember exactly like what it was.
He starts fucking like flying out the window, right?
Oh,
yeah, that's
he's
right.
floating at one point in time, like flying in the air. So like that happens, and that's actually what calls what.
He's like, "Let me in," and Luke Perry's like, "You're floating."
Yeah,
that's exactly what happens. Yeah, so like they make a truce though before Mom comes home and rescues Sam. He's basically like, "Look, we'll figure this out. I don't want to kill you." You know, Sam, but I am turning into a vampire, it seems. We'll figure this out. So they call the truce in the moment. And the Frog Brothers basically are like, stake him and kill him.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't. It's like, I can't kill my brother. The Frog Brothers like, okay, we'll do it.
We'll do it for you, yeah. And on the Max on the way home, you see that he's being followed from this date. And you're like, Jesus Christ, these vampires are about to just fuck everything up.
Is that you, Thorne? Is that you making all that noise?
And you hear like the roar of motorcycles in the distance and all that kind of shit. So he goes back. Michael now he knows he's a vampire. He's got to go back to the cave to confront them, right? But
I'm just reading along.
But what happens, Leaf, when he goes back to this cave? He goes back and he's like, you know what? I'm going to solve everything. But instead, he ends up just getting up in them Gertz.
Also, Star's little brother is like missing from this scene. She literally doesn't go more than 3 feet away from him the entire movie, but when she's getting railed, Michael, she's just gone. Yeah. I mean, thank God, but like, where is he? Is he playing Legos in the cave? Like, what's going on?
She's like, here's an iPad and some headphones. You go sit in the corner.
He's peeking behind the curtain like John Lovitz and Wedding Singers. Like,
he's reaping all the benefits.
He's literally like Michael's drinking his juice box. Like, is he playing? Is he playing Xbox?
She's losing her virginity.
Yeah,
and I'm reaping all the benefits.
No.
Oh God, I guess if he wasn't with his iPad and headphone like every child I've seen in public, then he must have been watching what's going on.
I will say he spends a lot of the movie sleeping, probably because they didn't want to deal with another child actor.
Well, and also younger. Like he didn't want to see his sister get railed.
Well, she gave him a lot of Benadryl.
She did. She was like, he'll be asleep for hours, just like a single mom in the 90s.
If you look real close in that sex scene, like his head's like just on the back of the bed.
Like Shadwick goes home several times with single women in the 90s, and he's like, "What's locked in the closet?" And like, "Oh, it's my son."
I'm like, "What is the lock hold good?"
Yeah. It's probably gonna think I'm hurting you. Lucy's gonna go to Max, apologize, and try to fix this thing out again.
Yeah, because the date is ruined, right? We didn't mention this. When the son Sam freaks out about his brother floating and not having a reflection and all that, he calls his mom. She rushes home, and it ruins her date with Max. So she decides to apologize to Max, and that's the next scene.
Because in this movie too, though, like we're starting to get to the point where you're like, you have to kill the head vampire, right? Yeah. So there's all these like hints of who the head vampire can be throughout this going forward, right?
Exactly. And this is the scene where we get that, because when Lucy goes to try to apologize to Max, he's nowhere to be found, and his dog nearly tears her to shreds.
Yeah, and so she barely escapes, gets over the fence, and then so you're like, oh, like that's fucking weird because the dog tried to attack Michael earlier,
and ironically, Sam is reading a comic book in the car while he's waiting for his mom to go apologize to his new stepdad
about the Hounds of Hell.
Yep,
the Hounds of Hell, and in that book it says that like head vampires, so they're not vulnerable, will have dogs to like guard them while they're resting during the day
while they slumber.
So now Max is
disturbs
suspect.
My slumber.
Yeah.
And Lucy schedules another date with Max to try to make it up, and she invites him back over to her house where she makes the most disgusting looking spaghetti meal.
Yeah,
you've
and
ever
this
seen in
also
your
is
entire
like
life.
this is pretty campy. This I kind of do like the campy balance they have in this movie, but like
This
so
is a
they're gonna
this is like a holdover from the Goonies style.
yeah
like,
exactly
movie,
like so
they're
gonna do all of these little tests. They're gonna pop a mirror out in front of him, and they're gonna ask him if he wants Parmesan. It's
Sam
garlic.
invites the Frog Brothers to dinner.
Correct.
So it's Max, Sam, and obviously Michael bails to do whatever with his new motorcycle. I don't know where he gets that shit.
Well, he's got like an infection.
Yeah. he's going back to get some more amoxicillin.
Yeah, he needs some penicillin. Something's wrong.
So it's Max, Mom, Sam, and he invites the Frog Brothers, Edgar and Alan, to like hang out, and they're trying to test to see if Max is indeed the head vampire.
As Michael is leaving, Max is at the front door, and Max is like,
Well, you're the man of the house, and I'm not coming in until you invite me.
You're invited.
Thanks very much.
Yep, yeah, which is
you fucking tricked him.
Yep, which is great.
Got him.
Well done.
Got him.
But
I love that, dude.
I do too. Like all this is one of those movies too that when you watch it back the second, third, fourth time, you pick up on little shit like that. That's just really well placed in there. But
you just lose the
the movie. What all do? They do the lights go out. You get the mirror. You got the shredded.
They check his reflection.
The shredded Parmesan that's just just
Do they dump holy water in his lap?
Yes, they have the holy water that gets dropped on. They accidentally spill on him, and he's like, "Is it burning or whatever?" And he's just like, "No, it's ice cold." Like, and so they do all these tests, and they're like, "Well, fuck! Like this dude's not the head vampire," and he's
absolved.
Yeah,
he's just a nerd.
it's just a ruined night. But of course, he's like still cool with it because he's like, hey, I mean, maybe I can get up in them Gertz. So
he is. He's literally looks at Lucy because she's apologizing for her behavior of her son and his friends, and he literally looks at her. He's like, your son needs discipline.
Every kid needs a father.
Yeah.
And she's like, he looks at her, and he's just like, it's okay. I mean, all I can do is fire you and ruin your entire fucking life right now because I'm the only reason you have any income. But you know what?
Yeah.
Your kid should probably treat me like shit. That's fine.
Because I am cuntingly disappointed in you.
And it's fine. You know what? I'm gonna give you another chance. And you're right, because you're wondering like why he's so obsessed with Lucy even after those two failed ridiculous dates that her kids obviously ruined.
Because
why was he taken aback by her to begin with?
Well, I mean,
the
town is dried up, man.
No, there's another reason. I'll explain it at the end of the episode.
That's why he brought a tube of spermicidal lube.
Yeah. Just in case, man.
She's got. I've got lubes and pornographic magazines.
Yeah.
And if you could just
anal nitrate.
Anal nitrate. So Max offers Lucy a third and final date to try at his house alone, away from all the little wretches and the kids. She accepts, and obviously that's the end of the scene. But Michael goes out to confront who he believes is the head vampire. So this is a fail, but he knows.
Which is
we
David.
all know now.
Yeah.
It is David. It's got to be David. He's the most nefarious, most charismatic. We all know he's the head vampire. He goes out to confront them, and they find. And this is where we get to like the most gruesome scene in the movie.
Dude, yeah, this is fucking brutal.
It's so bad.
And remember, up to this point, we have not actually seen the vampires like in vampire form.
Correct.
We have not. Correct. This is the first time. They actually drag him to out into the wilderness, into the desert of Santa Carla. They proceed.
They were listening to Run DMC, right? Like on the boombox. Did y'all pick that up?
Yeah, I did pick that up. Yeah.
So in all the reviews and all the notes, they refer to this group as Nazi surfers.
Yeah, I got that too in all the stuff I did in the research. I mean, they're bald headed, dancing around a fire. I guess maybe that's why. But anyway, it doesn't fucking matter. None of this matters. They're about to attack them while they're listening to fucking essentially Walk This Way or Rock Around the Clock.
Yeah.
I don't know why Nazis would be listening to Run DMC.
So all the
there you have it.
So all the other guys like run off, and it's just like Michael and David, and David's like, "You're not going to want to miss this."
Yeah.
So it like follows them up, and they're all like on on these branches of this tree, and I don't know, maybe I'm jumping to conclusions here, but you have like the tree of life.
Yeah.
Maybe this was like the tree of death because it kind of looks the same, but you've got like these fucking demons like hanging on the trees or on the branches.
Yeah, I get it.
And then the final this reveal of the vampires I thought was great because you see this is kind of a point of view from Michael. He's looking up at David, and every time like David's talking, he's looking away, and you just see like a little bit of a silhouette. Like you can see like his blonde hair is kind of lit up behind him, but his face is like completely black in the shadows. And then he turns to Michael, and he's like fully transformed.
Yeah, fully transformed.
And I don't know, is this the first time that they use the the eyebrows covered up with like latex or whatever? Is that the first?
One of the guys, I don't know. I forgot who the makeup guy was on this, but he said they did like a facial cast with eyes open. Which apparently is like a big no-no now, like to get that look. And I don't know if it was the first, but apparently like it's extremely frowned upon, and whatever they used was probably not great and not done anymore. But yeah, it may have been.
But
the
I mean,
first
you
time.
see that? Well, you saw that in like Buffy the Vampire Slayer,
where
the series, and so like
the smooth
there's
look or whatever.
Yeah, there's no, you don't see like the eyebrows anymore. They're like all covered up and
ridges on their face. Yeah,
a little demonic.
Probably
it's just a demonic nod, right? Like
but it looks great.
Yeah, they got the fangs,
it's a
the
great,
eyes.
Yeah, it's a great reveal. And then like as soon as you see David's face, he turns and you see all the other guys are looking down at him. And they're all kind of like smiling and hissing or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
they go and kill all.
And this
of
is the first gore of the movie, right?
This is this is the first.
So like because to this point you've just seen
only
the shots, and you're like, okay, well they're not going to show it. And goddamn, that one shot when they go in and they start fucking them up, and David fucking bites in the back of the apple that dude's head, and it just, whoo!
It is gory, dude.
So
it is brutal.
Yeah, so they actually cut some scenes from this. One of them, which Kiefer Sutherland says was his favorite scene out of the whole movie. He actually decapitates that guy, like rips his head off.
Oh, geez. Nice.
But they made them cut that because when they did test screenings, like everybody was like really enjoying the movie, but like in some of the gore scenes, they're like, ooh.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, because it's there was basically a genre for slasher flicks by this point, right? So
well, they were actually kind of starting to go away with that because Friday the 13th had been hit with so many hits on censorship.
Yeah.
They were like trying to tone that down at that time.
Well, I thought this one was done really well, but I mean, long story short, they fucking murder these dudes listening to a Run DMC
in a brutal way. Yeah. And so when the scene is over with, you get this scene where Michael's just sort of watching in horror, and the whole time they're like, "Come on, Michael, join us, kill these guys. We know you're thirsty," and like Michael's thirsting for blood, like he has been the entire time, but he resists, right? Like, and that's a big crucial point in the movie. And he's just like, and David, Kiefer Sutherland's character looks down at him and is just like, now you know what we are. Now you know what you are.
Yep.
You can keep resisting, but eventually you're just going to give in to the hunger and what you are. And like that's what we find out along with Sam's comic books that Michael Starr and her little brother Eddie Munster are half vampires.
Right.
Yeah.
You gotta kill and drink the blood to become full.
Gotta drink your first kill.
And David's little speech there, part of it was actually put on the movie poster. It's you'll never grow old, you will never die,
nice.
But you must feed.
Nice.
Yeah, which is just so chillingly awesome, dude. Like it's such a cool scene. Like besides the unnecessary gore, it's literally like such a cool scene. So you understand that's the big reveal. Now we know what we're dealing with. If there was any doubt, which there isn't at this point in time in the film, you know what you're dealing with. These are full-fledged vampires trying to induct.
Exactly. And now everyone including us at home watching, are like, okay, so David's the head fucking vampire. Like, he's the one
Yeah.
heading all this shit up. So
We
like,
know he's the guy. He's the one manipulating, pulling the strings.
So the
99%
Frog
of the time.
brothers now are gonna fucking jump into action.
They're
gonna go kill their first vampire, even though they've told us they've done this 1,000 times. You know, this is not new to them. So they're
because they're wearing military fatigues from 1970.
Watch out for Charlies in the trees.
They went to the Barnard Army Navy store.
They did, man.
Dude, they did, dude. They got their fatigues and their shirts and their berets.
Dude, they're ready.
And so they decide to launch a plan where they're going to go and kill the head vampire during the daytime,
right?
In the secret lair where the surf punk, the biker punks are resting, obviously during the daytime, and that is basically exactly what happens. Unfortunately, though, Michael does not go with them. He knows that the vampires would sense his presence, being that he was a new vampire. So all he does is rescue Star, her little brother, and they escape, and leaving the Frog Brothers and Corey Haim's character Sam to dispatch the vampires, which unfortunately they kill the medieval dickweed.
Good night, bloodsucker.
No!
In the most gruesome manner ever. They stake him.
So
and
they toned that one down too.
Yeah,
that was another cut scene.
Really?
Dude, it was gruesome and gross.
So gruesome,
so
dude.
This is the first use, apparently, of glitter in a vampire movie.
I'm disgusted.
They put
I noticed it.
They
I
put
noticed this
glitter
last
in
time.
his blood, so it was different looking blood and shining when it comes out.
You don't notice until they run back into the daylight, right?
Yep.
And we'll get there. So they stake Alex Winters through the heart. Don't ask me how a 13-year-old is able to drive a stake through a grown man's rib cage and out of his back, but they managed to do it. And he dies, right? The other vampire is awake. Most importantly, David, the head lead vampire, played by Kiefer Sutherland, lurches forward and attacks them, and they're in a struggle trying to get out of the cave. They manage to kill one vampire, and they're running from him. And this is the scene that a lot of people will reference. He grabs Sam's ankle, and Sam's pulling as at the entrance to the cave. And as he does, David's hand touches the sunlight. And immediately immolates, gets set on fire, and he pulls it back. He's screaming, and and it zooms in on his face. And as he's kind of got this grin almost, and a tear streams down his cheek, and it's a really amazing scene. It's really intense and scary.
Not planned.
Yeah.
It was something about the contacts, I think, was like drying out his eyes.
Yeah, they were drying out his eyes. So go back and watch it with that knowledge. And watch the actor's face. So he looks at the camera, the tear starts to go down his face, and you can almost see this realization in Kiefer Sutherland's face of what has just happened as far as oh shit, this is awesome. And then he really starts to ham in his face, looks at the camera or whatever to really sell that tear going down. When I went back and watched it this time, I was like, you can really see the light bulb go on as that tears start, which a good fucking actor to be able to be oh shit,
to take advantage of that moment.
And then he starts laughing
exactly.
like maniacal laugh.
Yeah, exactly. It's just great. You can like I said, go back and watch right when that tear starts to drop. Watch the light bulb go off in his eyes, and you can see he's oh shit,
yeah, this is the moment. It reminds me of the scene in Django Unchained when what's his name, the kid from Titanic, dadgummit, I'm drawing a blank.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo DiCaprio. In Django Unchained, he slams his fist down on the table and he breaks a glass and it cuts the fuck out of his hand.
Yeah.
And it is actually gushing blood in the scene. And you can almost see his acting intensity rise because he just keeps going.
Yeah.
People on the set were almost lurching forward, but they didn't want to interrupt, right? And he keeps going, he acts in the scene. It's that same kind of moment that just happens once in a million moments.
And it just
Chris,
perfect.
Chris, didn't Goldberg like lacerate the fuck out of his arm when he punched through like a car window or something?
He fucked it up bad and actually cut some tendons and shit. And put him out of action for a while. It was pretty fucking gross. Don't punch through a window, guys, of a car.
Yeah,
not smart.
But if you do,
make sure it's on
camera.
Stupid.
Make sure it's on camera, and make sure you keep going.
Don't stop
for the crowd.
Yeah, don't stop.
So the Frog Brothers
stop. Keep going. Don't make me go loose.
Don't make me go loose, bro.
Call me Donnie.
Please don't go.
The Frog Brothers escape with Sam barely with their lives, and they are covered in vampire blood, and they are sparkling.
Yep, and so this is like I said, this was the first use of this. And so this is when you get your Home Alone montage, like where he's like fortifying the house in Home Alone, except for this. They're just getting a bunch of vampire like cliche shit, a bunch of garlic. They go to a church and just steal a bunch of the holy water in the middle of
a christening.
In their super soakers, right?
Yeah, they give it their canteens. They're filling it full of it, then they put it in their super soakers, put it in the bathtub. They're just getting an ass load of holy water in the middle, like Lee said, in the middle of a christening.
And the whole and the all of Hollywood was calling Corey Haim Canteen Boy after that.
Yeah. But the reason they're doing that is because they know the vampires are coming. Mm-hmm. They're going to want revenge for them killing one of their own. There's no escape now. All the cats are out of the bag.
You killed Marco.
You killed Marco's dead, aka medieval dickweed. They're fortifying the entire house, and they managed to. So as we established before, Mom is going on her third date with Matt, nerdy ass Max.
It's got to make it work this time, you know.
She's trying to get some D, get these kids a father.
Grandpa, the widow Johnson called. She said to pick her up at 7 instead of 8, okay?
We got a date tonight?
I guess so. She said not to be late.
And so Grandpa's the only one that's sort of like cramping their style. They don't want Grandpa to be there when the final battle goes down because he's oblivious. Mm-hmm. He doesn't know about the vampires, so they make up a fake date for him and the widow Johnson to go on. They're like, because Sam is like...
Poor old Widow Hamilton.
Yeah, Widow Hamilton.
Dude, man.
Yeah, I don't want to toot my own horn, but if it wasn't for me and a couple other guys, I don't know if the old board would still be around.
Yeah, you need.
Yeah, you know how you need?
And so Sam basically tells Grandpa that he's got a date with the widow Johnson, and she... that she called him. He's like, well, I better get ready for my date. So he like gets ready for the date and hops in his jalopy, and off he goes. And so now we're ready.
Which always plays La Cucaracha on the horn.
Yeah. Dude, which I love.
Yeah,
That's so fucking good.
I like because it does like the main part, but then it like fades out at the end like it's broken.
Yep. It is broken.
Yeah, because Grandpa doesn't...
Sounds broken.
So he's gone, and we're ready for the final battle between the vampires and the good guys, the good kids, the Frog Brothers, and obviously Michael and his brother Sam. And they also have Star and her little brother Eddie Munster in tow too. They're just kind of like, they're trying to protect them because they're like sort of, I don't. They're not really doing anything to fight.
Yeah,
actually, also Star is the only one to like not actually vamp out in the movie. Like as we find out.
Oh, they didn't want to ruin that beautiful face.
That's really true. I think that's really what happened. I don't think she wanted to put the makeup on. Same thing with Michael. I don't think the actor wanted the fucking makeup. Really fought hard against it, and they were like, "Yeah, really? But you look like Jim Morrison," and he was just like, "Yeah, that's why I got this role."
Yeah, exactly. So the final battle.
I thought Schumacher wanted him because he's got those DSLs.
That's probably exactly.
Yeah.
That's actually what he quoted in his contract.
He said, "After DSL, we're just going to get fiber optics."
He's like, cut.
Yeah,
I need you to lick your lips more.
So the final battle occurs, and there's more gruesome scenes. One of the vampires attack. You can hear them coming. They're flying down.
Yeah.
They're trying to. There's this really intense scene. It was one of the most intense scenes when I was a kid. The dogs like run out.
Yeah, dude.
God, I hate this. It's not in my notes, but like I hate this
the anxiety level because you're like, holy shit, they're about to kill the dogs.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
Well, they put the Nook out. Like they put him outside because I think he was like trying to attack the vampires, right?
Yeah.
Like Michael and Star and Laddie.
Yes.
So, yeah, they forget, like, right as dusk is coming, like, oh, shit, the dog's still out.
Nanook, let him outside. Don't go out there. Stop it.
Yeah, and it's like this,
So
like,
they try to go
intense
rescue the
scene.
dogs.
Like,
Why in God's name he had to, like, tie him up at the farthest point of the driveway?
Yeah.
You needed him far away from the vampires. But yeah, man, they come in. I guess you get the first death. Like, let's just go through the deaths of these vampires. So like you get the first death was the all-star acting job that this guy did. What did he say? What was his line?
You're mine! You killed Marco!
Yeah, you're next.
That one.
Yeah.
And whatever they do, it doesn't affect him. What was it they do first before they dunk him in the holy water?
Oh, garlic.
Garlic, yeah.
Garlic don't work, boys!
Yeah, garlic don't work. That's his other acting prowess. And then he gets dunked in the water. This scene is fucking brutal. Like that,
it's gruesome.
You hear the sizzling, the burning, like the skin melting off.
They spray him with the squirt guns in the face, which burns his flesh off. So that's awful because he's screaming.
Yeah.
And it's searing, and he has these like missing pieces of his face.
Dude.
And then Nanook comes in. Like after they rescue
body
him,
block, yeah.
cross body knocks him into a tub of holy water filled with garlic, and the guy's screaming, he's searing, he's cooking like it's boiling. It's awful.
That should have been the way they killed David. He gave him a stinger splash into the holy water.
And what's grossest about this scene is obviously he's dying, and like he tries to come out, like you think he's about to get out of the tub, but he falls back, and then it is as if that's not enough. Like the water starts to, for whatever reason, drain out of the tub, and then the sinks in the bathroom just explode with blood. It's horrific, dude.
I know, dude.
A horrific fucking scene.
Apparently, Owen Johnson's tampons clogged up the septic tank.
I can tell you 100%. Old Whittle Johnson is not using tampons. Menopause was back in the 60s.
Well, maybe.
Why is our female viewership under like 0.7%?
I don't know.
I don't even get it. Hi, Mom.
Okay.
So let's go to the next death. Which one is the next death?
The next death is, of course, the famous death by stereo.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
This is...
There was something weird. I think... So, Sam shoots this guy with an arrow, and he falls down.
And he does the nice little, the fake, like he caught it or whatever, and so you think it got him, but it didn't.
Yeah, but hey, there's something weird about... I don't know if it's just like a perfect zoom, but in my mind's eye, I was thinking that it was like a reverse camera, you know, but it's not. Like you can see him get up, but the way the camera zooms and he's standing up at the same time, it makes it look kind of unnatural.
Right. Mm-hmm. I got that. So, I'll clip that in so you can see that. But
yeah.
So I just assumed it was because he's a vampire and he's using his powers to like
help him get up or something like that. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean I think that's what it's supposed to be, but it was just good camera work, I think.
Yeah. So he gets killed with a nice little death by stereo.
Death by stereo.
Shout out to the actual band name.
Death by stereo, yeah.
Yeah, so after he stands up and he's like, "You missed," and Sam shoots him again, and it like drives him into the stereo, and it like blows up.
I don't even want to fucking know what kind of wattage what kind of stereo system was that, bro? If you fucking got that much juice.
It's 80s is no regulation,
he's cruising down Barnard Road and is going.
Yeah, his fucking trunk, the trunk of his '84 Honda's rattling,
just rattling.
808s. Yeah, nothing sounds quite like an 808.
So he's fucking toast, and then you have the battle, which you assume is Michael and David. This is what we assume is the head vampire. So David and Michael have this epic battle. They're flying. They're doing Indian burns, doing bolos.
Yeah, this is the Dragon Ball Z battle.
Yeah, it
before
was.
Dragon Ball Z, like anime,
Fighting
was
in
a
the air
thing.
and shit.
Dude.
Well, this is another good like use of shadows. I really like because you get like I was talking about before. You hear like the bats screeching every time. Like it's another point of view thing where David is like flying down and he'll just punch Michael and then he like disappears. You don't even see him, and then and then like Michael calls him out. It's like you're afraid to face me.
Yeah.
And then it like I don't think we mentioned it, but Grandpa's house is kind of like a cabin. Like it's got like these these like log beams up high.
We mentioned it was a taxidermist. You can assume it's a cat.
So David is he's like up on one of these beams, right?
Yeah,
dude,
that's
he's
cool
like
shot.
kind of like leans out from the shadows and starts laughing.
And this is one that I didn't really pick up from until now. So he gets when Michael impales David on the antlers.
So it is mine.
Then David goes back to his normal self, but no one else changes, right? So I think what they were looking at was this was going to set up a sequel, and it was because the antlers that impaled him was not a wooden stake, is like some of this fan lore that I saw, and actually some of the directors and writers, they were going to bring him back for what was going to be called the Lost Girls. So Kiefer was going to come back for that, and that was going to be the sequel. And I guess this movie has lived on more in lore than it did in box office prowess, so it just didn't get a sequel. But yeah, so that's what they said. I think that was their get out of jail free card. Was it wasn't a wooden stake, it wasn't holy water, it wasn't
I always thought maybe it didn't pierce his heart because it was like both antlers went through his chest, but like I couldn't tell. Like he did get impaled, and you're right, he was one of the only vampires that didn't disintegrate.
Right.
Like when he was killed. So like in the epic battle, Michael finally does win. He kills David on a pair of antlers thanks to Grandpa's taxidermy skills.
But isn't like David's hair isn't it cut shorter and everything? Like all his facial hair is gone.
Right.
Like
he looks like a kid. Like he looks like a fucking
he looks
kid.
real young.
Yeah, because like right after that happens, Max and what's the mom's name again?
Lucy.
Like they like bust in.
They show up fresh from their date, and you assume Lucy just got absolutely destroyed in the back of his life.
It's the best. It's Max. Well, it's Max, so you assume it's the best 5 seconds of her life.
Yeah, I guarantee he blows a load like a shotgun right through her back.
When he was trying to take his pants off, and his shit just clipped his underwear, and he just went off.
Do you think vampires come like we do, or do they like, or do they shoot out like mummy dust?
I don't know. It's probably glitter.
Oh, that's worse. That's worse. That's worse. She's never gonna get that off her back.
No,
it's much
worse.
worse.
Decades.
And so the
shave it off. Crabs.
This is an important scene. They impale. David gets impaled on the antlers. He's dead. He actually reverts back to his like younger looking self, and he appears to be dead, but nobody changes back. Like this is a big scene, right? Like so, it's like if he was the head vampire, why is Michael Starr and her little brother Eddie Munster not turned back into normal human beings? It's really confusing, and that's when Max and Lucy show up, and the vampires are hiding, obviously, because they're vamped out. They've been fighting, doing their thing.
Yeah,
there's blood and shit everywhere in the house.
Yeah. And Michael doesn't want anybody to see him in like full vampire form.
Yeah.
So
he doesn't want
like
to scare
hiding
his
in the
mother.
dark.
Yeah, he respects his mom still. Like he loves his mom. He doesn't want her to see, his vamping form or whatever.
So Max walks over, assuming just like checking out what was going on, and you see him like he turns David's face, like you see that he's like all clean shaven or whatever.
Yeah.
And then just like nonchalantly, he's like, this is all my fault.
Yeah.
And then you find out that he is in fact the head vampire.
Yeah.
They were right all along. Yeah, the big reveal, Max is indeed the head
and
vampire.
he's facing away, and then like he does
It's
this
a great reveal, yeah.
Yeah, he's like,
But I still want you, Lucy. I haven't changed my mind about that.
he like turns around,
Yeah.
and he does this like tongue out thing
Yeah,
between those things.
Oh, dude, yeah.
He's
like,
completely vamped out.
He's like, remember when I did this?
Dude.
She's like, my boys need a father.
She's like, she's like, oh my God, I only got to H when he was doing the alphabet.
Oh, no. For some reason, he looks like John Lithgow in this scene.
He
I
does.
can't get it out of my hand.
He absolutely does. I thought the same thing.
Else?
No, I thought the same thing.
Yeah,
dude.
100%.
Dude, he's John. So he's not even vamped out. He's John Lithgow out. And
this guy, I don't know if you guys are fans of the movie or not, but Overboard with Goldie Hawn and
yeah.
He plays like her husband, like the rich guy. He's always on the yacht. He's the one that he like left her in that town because he just wanted her money.
Yeah,
dude.
Nice.
So every time I see him, he's like,
think of Overboard.
I think of him going, "Oh, Tofudi, I need you." I guess Tofudi was like a stripper or something that he had on board.
Nice.
And so we find out the true plot is that the head vampire Max is a Christian conservative who just wanted a nuclear vampire family.
He just wanted to bring it home.
He just wanted.
He needed those 2 kids for tax write-offs. Okay, for the greater good of the rental store.
His master plan was to. Obviously, he had turned the biker punks into his boys, right? Like he had vamped them out, like as are his kids. Unfortunately they were murdered.
He just wanted a wife that wanted a little slap and pickle.
He realized they needed a motherly hand. He literally says that.
I know.
He's like they needed a feminine touch, and so he was going to turn Lucy into a vampire.
That was his dark plot all along. Was marry her.
He wanted a Christian Catholic wedding, dude. Can you imagine?
And he's like, and just think, as soon as you turn into a vampire, your hair's going to grow long. It's not going to look all docky like that.
It's
going to turn you into the best version of yourself.
That was his
this is not it.
Yeah, this is not it for me. But so Max starts to beat the shit out of Michael.
Michael Black pops out of the shadows like, I didn't invite you this time, Max, and he's still like all like vamped up.
And tries to like step to Max, and Max is the hand vampire, so he just basically bitch slaps Michael down instantly, and he grabs his younger brother Sam basically by the throat, threatening him, and he's just like, Lucy, like you belong with me. Like, we're going to be one big happy vampire family. Join me. He reaches out his hand in this dramatic moment.
Yeah.
And there's this moment where Lucy's like, oh, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I can't believe this is happening, but I have to save my children. There's
And
nothing I can do. I'm powerless.
they work in that organ music too.
Don't do it, Mom! Mom, don't do it! Mom, no! Mom, no!
Yep.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's a really I liked it, but I was laughing, but I still liked the scene.
Yeah.
And she like reaches out and takes his hand, and you're just this wave of despair washes over you as you're watching. You're like, this is
oh
over.
my God! And then
He's won, except for.
There it is, man. The save.
Grandpa to the rescue.
Save of all saves, man.
Like for no reason.
It's like fucking Stone Cold's music hitting, and he's coming in and stunning everybody. He just the wooden fence post impales a head vampire, and
if you want to take through the heart, give me a hell yeah.
Grandpa crashes his truck through the wall, and like the wooden fence posts he had been building, he had been doing some work before, fly through and impale Max through the chest. He flies back into the fireplace and explodes in flames, like in the most hilarious death ever.
So like I guess there was an alternate scene film for this where it was like a longer dummy death scene where it was even bigger and more detailed. God. But I guess they went away from it for the shorter cut.
It was so cartoonish the way it was.
Right.
I can't imagine it being longer, dude. And so he's dead.
Yeah. So then Grandpa just like nonchalantly, like He gets out of the car,
goes to get a beer.
Yeah, walks over to the fridge, cracks it open, takes him a big
Nice
chug.
little chug.
And remember, all his family is concerned, though.
Yeah.
He's not saying anything.
Yeah. Take a tug. Take a tug if you like.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And so they walk up to him, and they're just basically like, "Grandpa, are you okay? Like, you just murdered a guy.
Yeah, you just ran through the wall. Like,
yeah, like you crashed through your own house. Like, he's not talking at all." And all three of them, like his family is sitting there, Lucy, all from the beginning of the movie, through now, and they're like, "Are you okay, Grandpa?"
One thing about living in Santa Carla I never could stomach. All the damn vampires.
So,
boom, boom. People are strange.
Yep. He's like,
when you're a stranger.
He's like, the old broad knew I wasn't wanking it to her the whole time.
Dude, Grandpa knew that the whole time. He thought he was oblivious.
Yeah, dude.
He
He's just like, hey, he knew the whole time. That, like you said, cut to the Doors version of people.
Yeah, she knew it the whole time.
Yeah, she knew it
honestly, how fire was the Widow Johnson's like fucking snatch? That, like, Grandpa was willing to let his family die to try to get some of that ass, dude.
You make bad decisions in life.
Well, hold on though. Maybe when he got there to pick her up, and he realized that there was no date, that it was just a clever ruse.
A clever ruse.
Yeah,
she can't rent here anymore. Yeah.
Maybe he's like, well, shit, what are they trying to get me out of the house for?
Yeah,
I better go back and save them all, I guess.
Yeah, that's what he did. But so this movie is one of our favorites all time. Great. Normally I'll end with like, hey, what was your favorite or blah, blah, blah. I'm not. I'm just going to give a shout out to Barnard Hughes, played the grandpa. This one, just a fucking great job. Also saw on his like IMDb credit, he was in Doc Hollywood.
Yep. I was going to point that out too.
Yeah, and so which ties it into our Tommy Boy episode where Chris Farley's remember when you were naked in Doc Hollywood?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Eraser nips.
Yeah. Yes, one more time around for the eraser nips, man. So, guys,
he does have a really funny, like, he's the town doctor in that movie. He's really funny in that one also.
But yeah, awesome job in this. Just great comic relief and a hero on top of that, man. So, with that, guys, we'll go ahead and take it over to our Norm Macdonald clip of the week.
Well, O.J. Simpson's lawyers stopped feuding this week, finally. The Dream Team, F. Lee Bailey and Robert Shapiro, were able to put aside their differences and express their admiration for each other after O.J. threatened to cut their heads off.